Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I am incredibly excited to have you here today because, wow, we are going to untangle one of the absolute most fascinating cultural paradoxes in the world. We're looking at a tradition that somehow perfectly balances profound affection with absolute martial intensity. It's this wild story of ancient myth, modern adaptation, and a genuinely unique way of looking at what it means to protect the ones you love.
Just think about it for a second. What if the festival of sibling love required a bloody stone war? It sounds like a total contradiction, right? But high up in the mountains of Uttarakhand, on the exact day of Raksha Bandhan, a day famously dedicated to brothers and sisters celebrating their gentle bond, this massive, ancient, and incredibly intense ritual known as the Bagwal Festival unfolds.
Okay, let's dive into this. The standard Raksha Bandhan traditions that most of us are familiar with, they involve delicate silk threads, sharing sweets, and, gentle sibling affection. But contrast that with the Devidhura tradition. Over there, the day has historically been marked by thousands of people throwing stones, wielding these massive wooden shields, and, embracing actual bloodshed. So how on earth do we get from delicate threads to a literal battlefield? Well, to understand this, we have to go way back in time.
Section 1. The Bloody Origins, a Pact with the Divine.
So every tradition has a root, right? And this one is deeply, deeply embedded in the mythology of goddess Varahi. Her temple sits at an altitude of 2,500 meters in the absolutely beautiful Champawat district. Goddess Varahi is the fierce female counterpart of Lord Varaha, which is Lord Vishnu's boar avatar. She is revered as an incredibly powerful protector, presiding over the region's dense forests and mountains, right alongside 64 divine forces known as yoginis. And honestly, it all comes down to the number 1. According to local folklore, back in ancient times, the region was plagued by all sorts of threats. To appease the goddess and her 64 yoginis, and to secure their fierce protection for the community, exactly one human sacrifice was required each year. Now, what's really interesting about this side is the brutal solution they landed on: blood equivalent to one human sacrifice. The story goes that one year, the turn for the annual sacrifice fell upon an old woman from the Chamyal clan, and the victim was going to be her only living grandson. Devastated, she prayed intensely to goddess Varahi, and the goddess, completely moved by her pure devotion, offered a divine compromise. The human sacrifice was stopped forever. Instead, the local clans agreed to fight a mock battle, shedding just enough blood combined to equal that of one average man. And with that pact, the tradition of Bagwal was officially born. Section 2. The Battlefield and the Deity. Inside the Maa Varahi Dam. Let's look at the mechanics of this festival. You've got 4 participating clans, traditionally known as the Kums, surrounding the temple from all directions. We have the Lamgaria from the north, the Chamyal from the south, the Wallach from the west, and the Gaharwal from the east. On the day of Raksha Bandhan, these 4 clans descend upon the open ground near the temple, called the Durga Chowk. Historically, they armed themselves with stones and carried these massive, beautifully decorated wooden shields called fari. They form 2 distinct groups. The drums start beating and boom, the stone-pelting battle begins. And the battle concludes only when the head priest sounds a conch shell, signifying that the goddess is satisfied and the blood quota has been met. What is truly remarkable here is the sheer intensity of this clash. Participants historically ignored their injuries completely. In fact, getting hurt and shedding blood during Bagwal wasn't seen as a negative thing at all. It was believed to be highly auspicious, a direct and personal offering to secure divine protection for their own families. But the mystery of Devidhura goes even deeper than the battlefield. Why must the head priest wear a blindfold? This is where the story takes on an almost Indiana Jones-esque level of thrilling mystery regarding the inner sanctum of the temple itself. So the sacred idol of the goddess is kept sealed tightly inside a copper chest, known as a Tamrapatra. It is a deeply held belief that the true form of the goddess is so incredibly radiant, so raw and powerful, that looking at it directly with the naked eye will cause instant blindness. Because of this, when the annual ceremonial washing of the idol takes place, the head priest must tightly blindfold himself. It's just an incredibly powerful reminder of the untamed, awe-inspiring energy the deity represents. Section 3. From Stones to Flowers, the Modern Evolution of Bagwal.
Let's look at how this ancient, bloody tradition intersects with the modern legal world. We start in ancient times with human sacrifice, moving into the historical era of stone pelting. Then, look at the major milestone in 2013. The Uttarakhand High Court intervened and issued a ban on the use of stones due to safety concerns and the high number of severe injuries. And this brilliantly illustrates how deeply rooted traditions can adapt. Following the legal directives, the festival transformed. Present day, it is now a literal war of fruits and flowers. In a recent celebration, this intensely energetic but now completely safe fruit and flower battle lasted for about 11 minutes. The spirit and the devotion remain completely intact, even as the method has evolved for modern times.
Section 4. Redefining Divine Protection, Expanding the Canvas of Raksha Bandhan. Now that we understand the extreme end of the spectrum with Devidhura, let's zoom out a bit. There are some truly unique Rakhi traditions that show the sheer diversity of this festival across Bharat. First, the Vanchi Narayan Temple in Chamoli, which opens exactly one day a year specifically for women to tie Rakhis to Lord Vishnu. Then there's the beautiful tradition of tying Rakhis to the idol of Thakurji, or Lord Krishna, in Jaipur. In Indore, devotees offer a massive, record-breaking 40 by 40-inch Rakhi to the Khajrana Ganesh. And beautifully, across many rural regions, you'll actually find people tying sacred threads to trees, to cows, and even offering coconuts to the sea. It demonstrates perfectly that the spirit of Raksha Bandhan extends far beyond traditional human sibling bonds to include deities, nature, and our environment. So, what is the crucial point to take away from all this? Raksha Bandhan is a reaffirmation of faith to care, protect, and nurture the divine in all beings. Whether it's the fierce martial energy of the Bagwal Festival protecting the community through ancient pacts, or the gentle tying of a thread around a sacred tree to protect nature, it is all part of the exact same ethos. It's about stepping up and taking responsibility for the well-being and protection of your wider world. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this question to really reflect on. How might your own local traditions evolve over the next century while keeping their ancient core spirit intact? We've just seen how Devidhura went from human sacrifice to stones and finally to throwing fruits and flowers, all without losing its heart or its profound meaning. Think about your own heritage and how it breathes and adapts. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I will see you next time.